MVP, the one and only Michael Venom Page, back with another Technique Tuesday. Today, we're doing questions. Selected a few questions. I'm gonna try and get back to you. This is why I wanna encourage you guys to comment, because I really do wanna try and get back to as much as I can. So, first guy's question, Taku Roman 91 said, could you do a video when it is the right movement, or moment, sorry, to throw an elbow at the start or the end of a combination? I'll do both, that makes sense. For me, at the start of a combination, if you're doing it at the start of a combination, for me, the best timing for that would have to be as your opponent is closing in on you. And because obviously an elbow, I'm cutting off a big part of my reach and my range, trying to overreach towards someone can leave you very open. If you miss that shot, it can leave you very, very open. But if they are closing the gap, it means you only have to close half of that space to land that shot, and they're coming in the correct direction. So you want to make sure that they're coming towards you. So whether it be a fake, you fake forward first and encourage them to take a step forward, and then you will land. There's two ways of landing it. From the front, I can land going forward. This is a good way. The second somebody's closing, they're pressing you and closing you down, that lead hand, and look how covered I am. Like, he's still got my backhand to cover. This is also a cover, but at the same time I can land that strike. This can also get me into a clinch. So especially if I'm backed up against the fence, I haven't got the space, somebody tries to close me to do a move, boom, I land that elbow on the front, and you can see I'm very tight, very closed in, land my clinch, turn, separate, I got my space again. Yeah, so that's the first one. That's if somebody's pressing you, yeah? So that's at the start of, say start of a combination. To be fair, I'll just leave it at just a single elbow. You can, if you land it quite clean and you know that you don't end up in a clinch, you can continue that combination with whatever feels comfortable and right in that moment. At the end of a combination, if I've landed a combination, boom, that's the easier one, yeah? Especially if after a clinch, I've just clinched, I'm separating, I might land a body, land an elbow. I might duck under, land an elbow, yeah? So after clinches, very effective way to land the elbow. Someone that's good at that is Leon Edwards. Loves from clinches, landing short elbows. He's done it in many, many fights successfully, rocked people, knocked people out. So that's one person you can watch. In terms of a combination, for me, I prefer elbows in close situations. Either someone's pressing you or from a clinch. In terms of landing a long combination and then landing an elbow, it's mainly if somebody's covering up. So if I press them to the fence, I'm like, bam, 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 landed the shot, I can add an elbow on the end of that. So that's easy, but that's once somebody's covered up. They're not fighting you back. Trying to just swing for an elbow in a combination utilizing distance, probably not the best time to do it. Keep that in mind. Next question. So this is for, you guys are giving me some serious work here. This is for Akayo Kalomba, 5151. We want to see distance management, how I do it in a fight so well with my hands down. So, okay, for me, this is an easy one. And the reason I say it's an easy one is simply because obviously distance is exactly what I do, but people think that I started, or when we train, if I was to teach somebody else, I'm like, yeah, put your hands down and just go from there. No, it doesn't work like that. I have to understand range. I have to understand where my guard should be before I can start working backwards to slowly dropping my hands. So, for example, traditional stance, legs shoulder width apart, you have your dominant leg and then your back leg in the back, nice and balanced, so I can throw all of my techniques from there and my guard in position. Front hand slightly more extended, back hand tucked by the chin. So this is your position here, so I can throw my punches from here, I can throw my kicks from here and get back to good balance. My style is slightly adjusted, but my guard is still the same. Initially, I need people to understand, and we do a lot of like padding drills, yeah? Parrying, blocking, and understanding. Every time they throw a punch, parry. I need to understand this. I need to understand where they leave from and how much range they need before they hit me and where I can cover from. The reason I need to have an understanding of these basics is because when my hands are not there anymore, I still see my guard. And it's because I've been drilled here for so long. So now I know that normally they fight from here, from a certain distance. My guard is not up. I can take a little step back and I know they are out of range. Because here I would have blocked them. Here they wouldn't have even thrown a shot. So my range, that is now how I've adjusted my range. So when I'm bouncing, I know how close I should be bouncing towards and away from my opponent. Here's the thing. If you do watch some of my fights, as I'm getting closer to my opponent, my reaction time becomes less and less because it's gonna be harder or a little bit easier for them to hit me the closer I am. So I put a gauge up in front, but as I slowly bounce away, this comes back down. I can be more relaxed because like I said, I can see where it is and I have the time and space I need to avoid and adjust using just footwork. But as I get closer, that hand slowly comes up, and in this range, when it's really close and tight, I have to have my hands in good space. When I get back, I understand the range. I still see the guard here in my eyes because it's been drilled over and over and over again. So if you want to start and learn how to do distance management, you have to understand distance by starting with your guard. That's your first protocol. Start with your guard and then work backwards from there. Let's go. Another question. I feel like I've seen this name before, so much respect for, tuning in, watching, supporting. Tristabent Celeste. So can you show some footwork like shifting legs, leg drills, stance switching, and tricks to bait your opponent? I can definitely do that. For example, very basic drill, just to understand your forward and back, and then your left and right. I'm gonna start with your forward and back. I'm gonna have a cone here, a cone here, a cone here. 3 spaces forward. You can do 3 spaces back as well. Yeah, this is drills. And all I'm doing is shuffling. My front leg is in line with that cone. I shuffle forward to the next cone. I shuffle forward again to the third cone in front. And then I do the same thing back. Just remember, going backwards, your back leg takes you there that way. So you never do this. Yeah? So you never have your front leg come closer together. This is my stance, that's how it's gonna stay. In order to go forward, my front leg extends away, and then I come back. Away, come back, away, come back. Going backwards, I'm still facing my opponent, but my back leg is the one that's shifting me away. And my front leg is the one tracking. Boom. So again, cone, cone, cone. You're on your toes. Shuffle forward, back on your toes. Shuffle forward, back on your toes. Shuffle back, back on your toes. Shuffle back, back on your toes. Yeah? So just bouncing. This is gonna train the hell out of your legs. In order to have this kind of style and cope with this kind of style, you need to have the endurance in your legs. I've spent a lot of time bouncing. So skipping drills, just bouncing drills. Drills like I'm showing you now, over and over and over again, builds that endurance explosion in those legs. Yeah, there's loads of other drills you can do, but at the basic level, just doing it more and more and more and more will build that endurance. So cone, 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 boom, boom, going forward. You can do it fast. You can do it slow, fast, you can forward, backward, backwards. You can mix up the timing of the drills. So that's one. Now we got cone, 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 going across. So I'm facing forward. I have cones going this way as well. Keeping my stance sideways onto my opponent. If I do that, that means I'm open. So I don't want to do, I always want my front leg to cross because I'm still in position. My back leg tracks, going across. Yeah, when I go back, I don't want my front leg because I'm open again. I want my back leg. I'm always in line, ready for anything. Come back here, back leg. So when I'm crossing, practicing, going to the sides, practicing, going to the side, practicing, going back to the side, going back, going down line, back up the line, going forward, going back. Now for setting up your opponent, that first drill that I just showed you that goes forward can also be used as a tease. And that's bait to pull and push your opponent. I can fake my opponent the same way someone does for a jump shot. I'm here, boom, boom. I gotta show the action. This is the action. And if I do it dynamic, I'm gonna do it dynamic a couple of times to the camera so you can understand. I'm bouncing, that change of speed. Oh. That change of speed makes somebody flinch, like something's about to happen. I'm pressing towards them, but I pull back. So I don't stay going forward. So we practice moving forward completely, and we practice faking. And I go boom, boom, and I get back, forward, back. So I don't stay on that spot, and I don't keep that progression. All I'm doing is faking towards my opponent. That's how you can bait your opponent into. I'm bouncing on my toes, boom. Look, even my arms. My arms, it's an aggressive move. If I do it like this, no one's gonna believe me. It has to be believable. Again, I'm gonna relate it to basketball again. If I'm here and I try to get someone to jump and I go, they're not gonna believe me. It has to be believable, it has to be dynamic. It has to look exactly the same way I would have progressed to throw a punch. So people have to believe it. That's the key for teasing and baiting somebody out. Either you make them flinch or you make them throw something that they didn't want to throw. And then I'm here, boom, they throw something, bang, I land my shot, yeah? So the best way to bait is just practicing these shuffling drills. Backwards, forwards, coming straight back. That's your fake. Practice these, that is key. That is so much of my work, my footwork, and so much of what I do in the cage is faking, shuffling, moving. Yeah, pushing and pulling my opponent, stressing my opponent out all the time. Yeah, go practice. Got another question, final question. This is from @notsane2. So, hey MVP, would love to see a mobility and dexterity workout or drill. I said you've got insane dexterity in your hips and your kicks. Would love to be able to train like myself and achieve the level of dexterity. Big fan from Sweden. Thank you very much appreciated. But you know what I'm gonna do, if you want even better, the coach that I work with that helps me a lot of my strength and exercises for fitness, dexterity, flexibility, strength, all of that. Nick Mason here, he's the guy that I work with regularly. So I'll let him kind of take it from here.
Yes, people, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna show you a few drills. Michael's already got good mobility, so with him, what it's more about is maintenance rather than trying to get more mobile. To me, he really doesn't need to be more mobile than he is at the moment. So it's just about maintenance. So we're gonna show you a few maintenance mobility exercises that we do together. First things first, Michael, coming down into a squat. Oh, not too wide, so we're gonna bring the feet, just say shoulder width for me. A bit closer in, that's the one. Now slightly turning the feet outwards, and we're gonna get you to come down as low as possible. Elbows in. Okay, good stuff. Now I want you to try and get that chest up a bit higher for me. Awesome, that's the one. Now we're gonna release one hand, one arm. We're gonna bring one arm on. Good stuff. We want that hand placed on the knee. And from here, squeezing that elbow on also. We're gonna get you to reach up as high as possible. Now we wanna try and get as tall as possible, chest up as high as possible also. So really try and bring that chest back. Awesome. And reaching up. Now think about that hand reaching over slightly. That's the one. Good stuff. 2 and 1. And changing sides, please. That's the one. Awesome. Bringing that hand on the knee. Good stuff. And changing over again. Now really reach up. Really keep that chest up as high as possible. Awesome. Reach over a bit more for me. That's the one. 2 and 1. Awesome. And we're just gonna get the knees moving. So I want you to think about this motion here. Pushing out as much as possible, back in. Keep the fingers open for me. And just out as wide as possible. Just like so.
So, shoulder apart.
That's the one. Awesome. That's the one. Now make that movement be from the hand for me. So what I don't want is this, more from the hand.
Okay.
That's the one. Good stuff.
I can feel it in the hips.
That's the one. Now try and bring it out a bit wider for me.
Okay.
That's the one. Let's open those hips out. Good stuff. Oh, good stuff. That's the one. Again, we're gonna open out those hips. Why I like to really open out the hips and strengthen the hips also is because Michael is really good at kicks. He does kicks, some of them quite high, some of them quite low, powerful, etc. So we wanna keep that area nice and loose and nice and strong. We've got a resistance band. And the resistance band is placed around Michael's waist. Now, as you can see Michael's position here, we're gonna get him to start upwards. So I want you to think about starting here, please, Michael. That's the one. Awesome, nice. Now, if you can, bring the feet a bit wider if possible. That's the one. Now here, we're gonna think about allowing that band to pull you down. That's the one. And coming back up, that's it. And again, dropping down, a bit more force, that's it. And nice and loose. Now, as you can see, we're looking for the movement of dropping those glutes down to the floor with that band pulling you back and coming out of it. So just back and forth in that manner, quite simply. That's the one. And hold there, 3, 2, and good stuff. Okay.
So yeah, those all the ones there, just real, I can feel them, real burns, things that, these are the kind of drills that we have to do just to help open up, and it helps loosen up. Sometimes certain days that you feel tight, so doing obviously generic stretching afterwards helps, but I prefer dynamic stretching, stretches like this, holding positions that really opens you up. Obviously doing your kicking, and at the end of your session, warming down and doing a bit more static stretching and holding certain positions just to loosen that area off. And that's gonna help you with your kicks, all the mobility and dexterity in all the kicking, in your kicking ability. But thank you, Nick.
All good, my bro.
We're gonna keep that going. Guys, if you need to know anything more, you want to know anything more, you have any questions that you're curious or something that I haven't answered, drop it down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next Tuesday.